Exercises, Exos. So today I have a theme. I thought of one because it's been raining. So you know what? We're gonna think about some flowers because we got a lot of flowers coming our way over the next 2 months. So we're gonna sell out flower. We're gonna do 3 rounds. We're gonna do 40 seconds of work, 20 seconds of rest or transition time today. We're gonna do a little bit more cardio type things, and then some upper and lower body things as well. We're gonna go ahead and go through our circuit 3 times through. We don't need any equipment, just enough room for us to be, I would say, on our hands and toes across the ground. And then of course laying on the ground for our cool down. But I'm gonna go ahead real quick with some demos and then we're gonna warm up and we're gonna be ready to rock and roll. So first movement here for our F. We're gonna do our frog jump with like that pop-up pause type thing, whatever you want to call it. So from our hands and toes, we're gonna jump out. Hands are going to be outside of our toes. We're going to lift our hands up off the ground and back down, and then again up and back down. That's going to be our first movement. And then after that, we're going to do some lateral bounds. So we're going to do 3 counter movements to a pause or a stabilization here. Oh, sorry. I guess we need enough room to jump side to side. Sorry. I should have mentioned that a few seconds ago. So we're going to start off on one foot. Hips are back, slight bend in the knees. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, and then pause and stabilize here. So we're working on our balance and stability while we are working on our lateral movement. So that's the L. And then our O, we're going to do alternating reverse overhead lunges with a pause here. So we're here, hands are up above our head, core is engaged, pelvis is sucked. We're going to come down, stepping back, pause for 2 seconds, driving through our front foot. So you can always make it a little bit more challenging if you want to hold something above your head in your hands, feel free. If not, body weight's always all good. Then for our W, we're going to do a wide stance squat pulse. Pulse. Oh my gosh. Pulse. I mixed pause and pulse. So feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip width. Toes are going to be facing out or squatting down. We're just going to pulse here up and down. So slight tiny movements here, working on our isometric and our glute work there. So it's going to be our W. And then for the E, we're going to do some eccentric push-ups here. So hands and toes coming down. 1, 2, 3. And you can either go all the way down or and get up however you need to, or you can come down 1, 2, 3, and then push yourself back up. I will not be doing that because that was probably the only one I could do like that today. And then lastly for our R, we're going to do a 2-inch run in place here. So we're going to have a slight bend in the knees and in the hips on our toes, quick feet and slow hands. So that's going to be our circuit, our flower circuit today. And so we're going to go ahead and get started with our warm up. We can go ahead and come to the top of our space for the world's greatest stretch. So we're going to go ahead and interlace our fingers, grab onto one of our knees, pull it towards our chest. And we're going to exhale, step back, reverse lunge. Hands coming down in the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhale, opening up towards our front leg. Gazing past our hand, thumb is facing behind us. Breathe into our belly here. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we're going to go ahead and exhale, bring your feet together, push your ground away, and stand on up. All right, let's go ahead and do the same thing. On the other side, we're going to interlace our fingers, grabbing onto the opposite knee, pulling our knee towards our chest. And we're going to go ahead, exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands going down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight here. Nice big deep inhale. And exhale, opening up towards our front leg. Gazing past our hand, palm is facing us, thumb is facing behind. Nice big deep inhale. And we're going to exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And we're gonna go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, push the ground away, and stand on up. All right, next up, y'all could probably already guess, we're gonna do a little bit of plank to pike, get our core and our shoulders nice and warmed up. So coming down on the ground, hands and toes, keeping our core engaged here. We're gonna go ahead and exhale. That was nice. And push our hips up into our down dog. You can start to pedal our heels back and forth, opening up our calves, push our head through our shoulders, open up our upper back. I'm gonna go ahead and come back down to a plank. We're gonna do a few more of these, pushing up, back down, coming up, and down, and last one coming up. And then we're gonna go ahead and come back to a plank, gently bring our knees to the ground. We are ready to rock and roll. So we're starting off with our frog jumps with a pop-up. So staying on our hands and our knees, because we're going to be on our hands and toes here in a few seconds. I'm going to get the timer ready. 40 saying the word, 20 seconds to rest, 3 times through. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we got frog jumps here with our little pause at the top. So hands and toes, jumping our feet out, staying nice and low, hands are coming up, back down. Try and get our hands on the our feet as close to our hands on the outside. So really try and get as close as you can. It's our first round, so I know my hips are a little tight, so that's really not going to get as close to right under my outside my hands at first, but by round 3 hopefully we'll be closer. 3, 2, 1. All right, standing on up. We're at lateral bounds, 3, and then we're going to pause. So we have 3 counter movement to stabilizing. All right, we're getting ready here. 3, 2, 1. So we're starting on one side, pulling our hips are like a rubber band, so our hips are going back, slight bend in the knee. 1, 2, 3, and pause. So we're landing and taking off in the same position. We're jumping as far as we can. If you want to push yourself and jump a little farther, that's going to help us really force ourselves to stabilize a little bit. If we don't have the room, no problem. You can also, if you jump closer, you're going to go a little bit quicker. Whatever you want to work on more. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, overhead lunges. We're going to alternate with a 2-second pause. Just have a breath already. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hands above our head, core is engaged, shoulders are away from our ears. We're stepping back, pausing for 2 seconds, driving through our front foot. In the back, 1, 2. Exhale, pushing through our front heel. So the overhead part here is going to force us to keep our core engaged. It's also going to help us work on isometrically strengthening our shoulders and working on our overhead mobility. 3, 2, 1. All right, great job. Next up, we have a wide stance squat pulse, not pause, pulse. So feet are going to be a little bit wider than hip width here, toes facing slightly out. 3, 2, 1. So we're getting as close to the bottom as we can here. Very slight movements, really important. I just felt myself do it, so I'm going to remind all of us because I myself was just doing this. So it's really easy. When we pulse, you see my back is curved. We want to tuck our pelvis. Our core we're breathing through our straw, bring our core together. We're not just moving up and down, we're pressing through our heels. It's going to help us use our legs, protect our back. 3, 2, 1. Whew, that one's on. My legs are on fire. All right, next up for our E, we have eccentric push-ups. So coming down to our hands and toes. 3, 2, 1. So we're screwing our hands into the ground, coming up, and we lower ourselves nice and slow to the ground and get up however we need to. You can also challenge yourself, lower yourself nice and slow and push yourself back up. So I already did that one time, so my time is up on that. So I know I personally have to go for my knees if I'm going to push myself back up. And that is, that's okay to do. Or if you're stronger than I am, then push yourself and push yourself back up. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last up, we're standing back up. Lots of up and down today. 2-inch runs in place for our R. We're gonna have quick feet and slow hands. All right. 3, 2, 1. So feet are hip width apart. We're on our toes. Fast feet, slow hands. From this angle, I don't know. It's easy to tell. My hips are back. It's kind of the same movement as we do for our lateral bounds, or even our starting position for our Romania deadlifts, where we have slight bend in the knees and in the hips. It's easier than doing this when we're closer to the ground. I have a little bit more quickness here. 3, 2, 1. All right. 1 down, 2 to go. Frog jump with our pop-up is next. These ones are hard, but now that we've done it one time, hopefully we can get our feet a little bit closer to our hands. 3, 2, 1. So we're coming up. Rocking our hips back. On this one too, we really do. I know our hands are going, or sorry, feet are trying to go outside of our hands. So we have a little bit, I must have my glasses, of a narrower stance within our hands. We can easily be able to get into our lower squat position because our feet are hip width versus being a little bit wider. So I know for me personally, when my feet are closer, I can get closer to outside of my hands. So playing around with what feels good for you. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have a lateral bound. 3, and then we're pausing. So we're getting ready. All right, 3, 2, 1. So we're standing on 1. So we're pushing our hips back. 1, 2, 3. And then we're pausing. 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2, 3. And pause. You can do a pause for a little bit longer to really work on our balance and stability on one foot. It really helps when we land here. We're pushing our hips back. That's going to help us balance a little bit more when we're here versus when we stand up or just have a slight bend. So really sink in. Our rubber bands coming out. And pause. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have overhead lunges with a pause. So we're alternating pausing for 2 seconds. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we have our arms up. We're coming down. Pause for 2. Drive through our front heel. Coming down. 1, 2. Front heel. Great job. 1, 2. And back up. Great job. Working on our single leg strength here. I know we did a lot of that the last 2 days. Can never do enough. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, wide stance, squat, pulse. So our feet are gonna be a little bit wider than hip width as we pulse. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So you can either have your feet a little bit wider. I'm gonna actually have mine a little bit more narrow this time. Still wider than hip width for me. It's gonna allow me to get a little bit more depth where when I'm here, I can pulse in this position versus when I'm wider, this is where I'm pulsing from. Each of them elicit a little bit different of a response. So when our feet are really wide like this, we're gonna feel a little bit more in our inner thigh and our glutes. When we're a little bit closer, we're gonna feel that more in our quads and our glutes. So whichever one you wanna work on more, feel free to play around with your foot distance. 3, 2, 1. I also know that this hip gets really mad when my feet are too wide. So be mindful of what your body needs versus what mine needs. So next up, we have push-ups. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we're coming down. 1, 2, 3. And get back up however you need to. So again, you can either do from your hands and knees if you want to push yourself back up. I don't want us doing it from our hands and our knees if we aren't pushing ourselves back up. So when we want to be on our hands and toes when we're doing this, because this is what's going to help it strengthen our chest to be able to eventually do full push-ups or even to do more full push-ups while feeling it more in our chest. So not necessarily doing more, but being more engaged. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have 2-inch run in place, and then we're going to go through that all one more time. And then we're going to cool down. Oh, it's not 3. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. Right. So slow, hands, quick feet. Going as fast as we can here. Try and run a little faster than you did the first time. Core is engaged. Great job. Keep breathing. We're like ducks on water. Our feet are doing all the work. When you look at a duck swimming, they look so peaceful. But under the water, their feet are doing this. So that's what we want to do here. Barely lifting our toes off the ground. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. 2 down, 1 to go. Working on our frog jumps with our paws. Really need to figure out what to call these. I know we did them a few weeks ago, and I don't think I had the right name for them. 3, 2, 1. Partially because I said with a pop-up when I wrote it down, but that would be like a burpee. We're not popping up. We're just going into a squat. Maybe frog jump with our hands off. I don't know. I'll come up with a name. But we have our theme here. I might use this theme for Tuesday in person and Wednesday boot camp again. But if y'all have other themes or any movements or strength qualities you want to work on, please, please, please let me know. I want to make sure y'all are getting the most out of these workouts. 3, 2, 1. Right. We got lateral bounds. 3, and then we're paused. All right. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Hips are back. 1, 2, 3, and pause. 2, 3, pause. Great job. Almost fell over. Getting close to the ground. The closer our center of mass is to the ground, the more stable we are, even if it's one leg. You can also hold and pause for longer, maybe on the leg that your balance needs a little bit more work. And that's why we do single leg, and also why I like to do our stabilizing movements here. I know I need more work. 3, 2, 1. All right, overhead lunges with our paws. You can even do a little pulse at the bottom if you really wanted to. Make it more challenging for round 3. 3, 2, 1. Hands are overhead. So if you want to do a little pulse, you can do like 3 pulses here. Really driving through our front heel, especially as we stand up. My core must be really tired because I'm definitely arching my back. So we want to make sure we're not doing that. If you need to move a little bit slower, I'm going to slow it down a little bit for myself, making sure I'm driving through my legs and not through my back. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Our squat pulses, either a wide stance can be anywhere from wider than normal to like a wide. So whatever you want to get from this, whatever feels good on your body. 3, 2, 1. Because all of us are different. So if I ever say to do something, you're like, what the heck? This does not feel good. You can always let me know. We can work on a way to help make it feel a little bit more comfortable, because I don't want anything to not be doable or to get to that point where we're kind of going in reverse, where now it's not helping us. My goal is that we all are getting the most out of these workouts and that they're helping us outside of our sessions. So we have strong legs so that we can move a little bit better outside of the gym. 3, 2, 1. All right, we got eccentric push-ups, 2-inch runs in place, and then we're gonna be on the ground for our cool down. We're gonna do some pretzel to cool down today. 3, 2, 1. So we got our push-ups here. And then, like I said, we're gonna be on our side for some pretzel to cool down so we can really open up our back, our spine, our chest and shoulders. I know we didn't do a whole lot of arm things today, or yesterday for that matter. But we will be doing some more tomorrow in Functional Fitness Friday. Also, I'm going to be most likely, I think we're just going to go with Wednesday, Thursday virtual classes at noon. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to be playing around with moving Friday's class off the schedule as my bandwidth is at capacity. So if that happens, I'll definitely I'll let y'all know. 3, 2, 1. Because I know with Focus Friday, we usually are a little bit more free on Fridays, but with the Design to Run training program, my Friday is so booked up that I might need to lower my coaching and class sessions to help with my bandwidth. So I'll definitely keep y'all updated. Y'all will be the first to know if I do end up removing it from the class. But just know it'll be temporary, really only until most likely mid-June will I take it off the schedule. So I will have it back eventually. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's workout. So go ahead, grab a sip of water if you need it. And like I said, we're going to do some pretzel. So move my camera here when we're ready. We're going to go ahead and be on the ground on our side. We're going to do a few breaths on each side here. So we're laying down. Our checklist, our top leg comes up, over, and across. My whole spine just cracked. I don't know if y'all heard that. Bottom hand on top of our knee, top hand on our bottom foot or ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And exhale, bringing our top shoulder towards the ground. We're going to do a few deep breaths here into our nose, into our bellies. And exhaling, sighing our attention. Let's go and do one more breath here. And as we finish our last exhale, we can go ahead and gently come out of that on that side. And we're going to go ahead and switch on over onto our other side with our same checklist. Our top leg is going to come up over across our body. Knee and ankle stay on the ground. Bottom hand on top of our knee. Top hand grabs onto the bottom of our ankle. We're going to inhale to prepare. And exhaling, opening our top shoulder towards the ground. Slowing our breath down. Applying more attention. I'm going to do one more breath here. And as we finish our last exhale, we can gently release out of that. And then feel free to stay on the ground or return to a seated, kneeling, or standing position. That is going to be all the time I have left for y'all today. So thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all again hopefully tomorrow.